Hey guys, today we're going to be breaking down the Zenkai for LF green trunks. And then we also, I think, have the free-to-play trunks. Then we have some equips to talk about as well. So we'll start with this guy. A bit of a strange decision, in my opinion. I'm thinking maybe this guy has something to do with part 2, because otherwise I don't really know. I mean, he has the future tag, but that doesn't... he's Zenkai buffing green hybrids. Like, it's very strange. So we'll see what happens with this, but... let's go ahead and jump in here. His stats. So he's going to be at about 290 to strike, which is pretty good. Yeah, that's good. 290 to main offense is good for an LF Zenkai for sure. And then defenses are pretty good too. Upper 190s? Is that what that is? Yeah, that's pretty good. So stat-wise, I have no issues at all there. So the strike is Extreme Bleed. Let me just confirm. I don't think this would change, but let me see. Yeah, that's the same with Blast Armor. Yep. Okay, so that doesn't change. Blast is nothing. The blue card, Shining Break. So I have the old kit pulled up here, so I'm kind of comparing here. Massive, 30% enemy damage cut effects. Yeah, that's the same. 100% chance to inflict Extreme Bleed. So 20% damage received for 15 counts is new. That's the only new thing on this. Okay. The green card is Golden Glimmer. Draws the Ultimate Arts card, Burning Attack. Activates twice. Oh, they actually upped this from once. That's pretty good. He gets an extra ultimate. Okay. That's a pretty big buff for this, I think, actually. Getting an extra ultimate, see, this guy can actually use 3 ultimates. Restores health by 15% and ki by 40. Okay, that goes up from 30 ki to 40 ki. 20% damage for 15 counts, and then 30% ultimate damage for 10 counts. That's new. Cancel attribute downgrades. Cancels enemies buff effects is new, too. Ultimate damage is pretty good for this. So yeah, actually, I would say this green card got a very significant buff, an extra ultimate from this, and then also extra ultimate damage. Okay, that's good. All right, the actual ultimate itself is the Burning Attack, massive damage, 20% enemy sustained damage, cut effects, endurance nullification, vanishing gauge by 100%, and then on hit, okay, so on hit. It just had reduce enemy ki by 70, so now it draws 2 new cards, and then 100% chance to inflict Extreme Bleed. So the hand refill and the Extreme Bleed are new on this. Okay. 20% is a little low on the sustained damage cut penetration there. All right. Actually, there is one thing to mention. Maybe we should start taking a look at this a little bit more closely for new characters, but notice his strike is slice damage. It's not impact damage. That, I think, does actually matter. I don't think it's going to be like a massive thing, but a lot of characters these days are getting extra damage reduction versus specific damage types, and it always does include impact damage, because impact damage is like 80% of the game. Some of them also do include slice damage, but it's just good to know that this is not impact damage, because that does, you know, bypass some of the extra damage reduction effects. All right, main ability. Let me just scroll up here. All right, so draws the Ultimate Arts card, Burning Attack. 30% health and ki by 50, so that goes up from 25% health. Type neutral for 10 counts is the same. 50% ultimate damage for 10 counts is the same. That's a little weird that they didn't give that uncancelable. Right, I mean, there's just so many characters now that cancel buffs and attribute upgrades when ultimates are used. So like you're gonna pop this main ability, you're gonna draw the ultimate, and then you're gonna get the ultimate damage buff, but it's gonna get canceled. Minus 30% interesting damage cut effects for 10 counts. Okay, that's the same. Everything below this is new. Applies buff effect, nullifies enemy special. Oh, he gets cover null for 5 counts on main. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't really call that game changing, but it's nice. It's nice. Okay, so Z ability doesn't change. He has a pretty good Z ability though. 30% special move damage by hybrids. And then 38% to hybrids future Vegeta Clan strike attack. Yeah, that's a good Z. But this guy's going to be a crazy bench for hybrids. Because we know his Zenkai ability is green hybrids, yeah. That's crazy. So he's going to be giving, what is that? 73% strike attack to hybrids and 3% special move damage. All right, unique ability number 1, 20% damage inflicted against Frieza Force. Thank God, man. Frieza Force just owning the entire game. Finally, we have a counter to the Frieza Force tag. It's much awaited counter there. 100%, 110% damage goes up from 90. And then, okay, they actually did give him 70, which is great. Reduce damage by 70%. That goes up from 60. And then 50% Q recovery remains the same. Falling effects occur every time when faced with an enemy. Restores own ki by 30. 20% damage for 15 counts. That goes up from 10 counts. -3 to own arts cost for 5 counts. That's the same. And then all enemies get -30% to critical rate for 10 counts. That's the same. Applies the following effects self every time this character uses a strike or a blast arts card. Randomly draws 1 new card, activates twice. That's the same. I didn't expect them to touch this at all because it's already pretty good. 20% damage inflicted cannot be canceled, activates 3 times. Okay, so they actually did buff this. This was 10% damage, activates 6 times. So you only need to use 3 cards to get the full 60% damage as opposed to 6, which I think actually does matter. That's a pretty good change. I do like that. All right, second unique ability. It does have a cover change against blasts, which is nice because strikes are the more common one. The following effects occur when enemy switches characters while this character is on the battlefield. Nullifies own unfavorable element factors for damage sustained for 5 timer counts. Yep, that's the same. So he's type neutral defensively when the enemy switches, which is, you know, it's decent. I mean, it's only 5 counts. Shortens allies sub count by 2. That is new, actually. I don't see this on the old kit. That's pretty good. Inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade, -20% to special move ultimate awaken arts power for 5 counts. That's obviously new because the arts power mechanic didn't exist when this character first dropped. The arts power mechanic was introduced with Red Pan. She was the first character to have that, and they released post this guy, so that's decent. And then inflicts all enemies with -30, or sorry, inflicts enemy, not all enemies, with 30% health restoration down for 15 counts, which is the same. Following effects occur when enemy tag switches while this character is on the battlefield. Yeah, this is like the super mega specific thing here. 25% damage inflicted against tag powerful opponent. Reduce enemy ki by 40 and randomly destroys 1 enemy card. They didn't touch this. This was added to this character because of the tag androids being by far the best character in the game. Well, I guess by this point they weren't by far the best character anymore, but they were. It was between them and Super Vegeta, Ultra Super Vegeta. I think Super Vegeta will probably edge them out a little bit, but it was very close. And that tag androids character was a problem for like multiple months, and they essentially hijacked the entire 4th anniversary. So this was their answer to the tag androids. And what this guy did on release was he released and he did absolutely nothing to stop the androids. So this was essentially just a worthless thing here. I was expecting them to make 2 changes to this. The first one was I was expecting them to make the change to just be 25% damage inflicted against all enemies. I didn't expect them to keep the powerful opponent condition for this. And then the second one was I was expecting them to make it not only when the opponent tag switches, but just normally switches. But they didn't do either, so they just kept it the same. So it's essentially worthless, but yeah. Also seals enemies special move and special arts when an enemy character that is both tag powerful opponent and tag androids tag switches. Yeah, I mean, again, the sealed arts cannot be used for 15 counts. Yeah, so sure, they didn't touch this. Interesting. All right, so here's the new unique abilities. Fate Changing Messenger. Following effects occur when the character is switched to standby. 10% healing. Shortens own sub count by 2. 10% damage inflicted by allies. Okay, that's some support. That's nice. Would have been good if Rose had that. Applies the following effects to enemy when they perform a vanishing step. So when you force the enemy to vanish, destroy 1 card and -1 card draw speed for 5 counts. Okay. Seems all right. Following effects occur when this character enters the battlefield. 25% to own ki recovery for 10 counts. Sure, I mean, he already has 50%, right? Yeah. Yeah, I was looking for the card draw speed. 1 card draw speed level for 10 counts. I guess that's good enough. I mean, he doesn't have double. Usually characters were looking for double card draw speed somewhere. This guy doesn't look like he's going to have double card draw speed, but he has ways to draw cards from using cards. So I guess we can maybe get around it, but it's you know, it could, like, in order for him to draw cards, you need to already have cards in your hand. So that could be a problem at some point, but okay, there's card draw speed only for 10 counts. They couldn't have just given him permanent card draw speed. Randomly destroys 1 enemy card, inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade, minus 15% to strike and blast with power for 10 counts. Okay. Applies the following effects itself when this character uses an arts card, activates once, and then the activation count resets when he switches. Nullifies enemies. Okay, so cover null for 5 counts, and then nullifies enemies reduce key effects for 5 counts. I was really hoping he would have card destruction nullification as well. Okay. Cover null and card draw speed. How good is this guy? Let's just see here. 110. 130. 60. It's like 190. And that's it. I guess we can factor this in as well. 210. That's it. Plus he's a hybrid, plus he's really high stats. 3 ultimates. I definitely don't think this guy is gonna be like... So I'm just trying to compare this guy to like more recent LF Zenkai. So the 2 gold standard LF Zenkai characters we've gotten this year are Fusion Zamasu and Kid Buu. I don't think this guy's going to be as good as Fusion Zamasu and Kid Buu were when they dropped. I don't think it's anywhere close. And I'm also a bit suspicious as to why they gave him green hybrids in his Zenkai ability when this is clearly a future-themed part 1. We'll see. I don't know. He doesn't jump out at me as like, oh my god, this guy's going to be a monster, but I feel like he'll be. I feel like he should be decent, just because if you have the ability to just launch 3 ultimates, like, you're probably going to be decent somehow, right? We'll see. We'll see. He has pretty unimpressive cover null and card draw speed conditions, so we'll see. There's also a new free Trunks. This one looks like he's purple ranged. Very good art on this Trunks. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, decently high stats, actually. He's got over is that over 260 to blast attack? Oh, I actually made a mistake on the Trunks. I for some reason only was subtracting 8,000 instead of 13,000 because I already have the title boost, obviously. So actually, this Trunks' stats are gonna be, they're gonna be under 290. It's gonna be 286 strike. 286 strike on this guy, and then still over 190s to defenses. So I mean, it's still probably good enough. Yeah, still probably good enough. Just want to correct that. All right, so this guy, yeah, but this guy's stats actually look pretty good though. This guy's gonna have over 260 to main offense as a free character. That's good. On the other hand, his defenses are absolutely horrible. It's really, really bad. Okay. He has destruction. Card destruction cards here. 20% key recovery, 15 counts, and then 10 key when he uses the blast cards. That's actually really good. Final Flash is massive impact damage, 20% damage received. Shortens ally sub count by 2 and reduces enemy key by 50. Okay, the sub count down is pretty nice. Stop time green card, draws a card, 50 key, 20% damage. All enemies, 20% damage received, and then 30% to key recovery down. Okay. Sure. Nothing crazy. Main ability, he's going to force draw a blue card. 15% health is a little low. And then key by 50. 90% to the next special move damage inflicted. Okay. Minus 20% to the next special move arts cost. Okay. So it's going to be 30. 50% to critical rates. Cancels own attribute downgrades. Okay. Pretty standard. A weapon wielder. Pretty standard Z ability, though, for a free character. Okay, so now we're giving free characters 100% damage here, okay? 100% damage, 70% reduced damage received, 60% secure recovery. Falling effects occur when this character enters the battlefield, draws a card. He has no card draw speed, huh? Draws a card, 20 key, 70% damage. Inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade, minus 10% to strike and blast arts power for 5 counts. That's it. Minus 1% to special move, ultimate awaken arts power, 5 counts. All right. Why is the following effects self according to the number of timer counts elapsed from battle start? 20% damage inflicted for 20 counts. 40 counts is 10% damage inflicted and 20% health restoration. 60 counts is 20% to key recovery and restores health by 20%. All right. So he gets his full damage after 40 counts. So when the timer hits 140. I mean, it's not horrible. You know what would have been really bad? If he got like card draw speed at 60 counts or something. That would have been really bad. Applies the following effects to enemy when changing cover. Randomly shows 1 card. Reduces key by 20. Okay. I mean, it's not insane disrupt, but at least it's something. Following effects occur every time when hit with an enemy's art stack while this character is in the battlefield. Restores on health by 5%. Waits twice. Okay, that's actually not bad. That's a pretty solid defensive ability, actually. 10% healing for free, essentially. Oh, he actually gets type neutrality defensively for 10 counts. That's good. Okay, he's actually looking like a, the funny thing about this is he's looking like he has the makings of like a decent defense character, but then he has like horrible defenses. So I don't know, it's a little weird here. They're like balancing it out by giving him bad defenses. And then all enemies get plus $5 arts costs. Okay. For 3 counts. Okay, so it's like 1 or 2 cards. Applies the following effects to self every time another battle member is hit with an enemy's arts attack. 20% damage for 15 counts. It's like Red Beast Gohan has that as well, doesn't he? Pretty sure he has the same type of mechanic there. Yeah, look, and then he gets cover null too. So it's literally this is like Red Beast's ability here. Cover null and damage when enemies get hit. Shorten sub count by 1. That's pretty good. Following effects occur if own remaining health is 50% or below after being hit by an enemy. Oh, so he has a disrupt at half health. 30% healing, 30% damage inflicted. Card draw speed, increases own Dragon Balls by 1 and shortens ally sub count by 5. Yeah, I am a huge hater of getting card draw speed on a health condition. That is really bad. This is kind of like, this kind of reminds me of Boo and Hercule a little bit, where Boo and Hercule don't get a lot of their support until they fall below half HP. So it's like, the way you want to use a disrupt like this is you want to use it when when it's in your best interest to stop the opponent's combo. So you want to use it defensively. You don't want to be getting like offensive buffs from a defensive ability, because then it's incentivizing you to just get this out as soon as possible. When that's not how you really should be using defensive mechanics like this. So I'm not really a big fan of the design on this, because you're getting also, not only are you getting card draw, but you're getting damage and Dragon Balls and yeah, sub count down. Like, well, I guess the healing and the sub count down are fine. Everything else is kind of weird. Damage, card draw speed, and Dragon Balls from this is I don't understand that. You're also not disrupting. Like, I don't, what is this? Who designed this? You're falling below 50% HP, but you're not like, this isn't disrupting anything, because all you're doing is you're just healing yourself. That's it. And then you're reducing sub counts. So what are they saying? You get to half HP and then you switch? Like, I don't know. This guy should have had his own disrupt at half health. When this character enters the battlefield, applies the following effects to self per future event exclusive or weapon wielder. 5% health. Okay, so he actually heals by 15%. Oh, no, other than this character, so 10%. And then 20% damage, so 40% damage, then 6 to arts costs. This guy actually has a decent amount of damage buffs. But here, again, I feel like I mention this every single time we get a free character. In order to get the full damage active for these free characters, you have to fulfill like 10 conditions. Whereas for a character like, Vegito, it's like you enter the battlefield, you do 1 card, and you're out 300% damage inflicted already. For this Trunks, you have to, I guess it's going to be the damage from here, the damage from falling below half HP. It's going to be getting hit by arts cards. What else? It's going to be the timer counts elapsing. Yeah, so like this, all these different conditions to getting damage. I mean, if you can get all these damage buffs active, he should be pretty good, but it's going to be very hard to get them all active because what do you get? 100, 170, 200. And then this one is kind of just like however many times you can get stacked up. 230 and then 270. 270 if you can get all those active, plus you're stacking 20% every time an ally gets hit by an arts card. Plus he's got pretty good offenses for a free character. He's got over 260 to main offense, blast attack. So I feel like this guy actually could be hitting pretty hard, but it's gonna be you're gonna have to jump through a lot of hoops to get all those buffs. So he seems okay. Pretty standard free character, I would say. All right, let's take a look at the equipment here. We should have a new co-op equip. I don't know if we're getting anything else besides this. Let's see. Future. Okay, so every future character. 25% to base strike defense, and then it looks like 12% to base offenses, and then 13.5% to pure offenses. A little specific number there. When 3 battle members are featured. Okay, so it's a pretty standard co-op equip. Would have been nice if slot 1 was HP, but 25% to strike defense is pretty solid. 13.5% to pure offenses, and then 12% to base offenses. Yeah, it's not bad. This is a pretty safe equip. I mean, again, it's just it's standard co-op equip design, but it's just pretty strong. No complaints about it. Is that it? Do you have any other equipment in here? Awakened equipment, maybe? Nope. Okay, well, that's it. Not a gigantic update here. I mean, to be fair, this is only like half a week out of getting the part 1 to start. So yeah, Zenkai Trunks, free-to-play Trunks, and then the co-op equipment. Let me know what you guys think. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.